Okay, we're back. I want to title this video called Filling in the Holes. And I think it's an important one. It's a weird one for me. I don't understand why this is troublesome for some people, but all my life it's been troublesome. It wasn't troublesome when I was at Musicians Institute. It was pretty common. But after that, playing with a lot of different bands, it became odd. And I hope it's just me, but I don't think it is. So anyway, the idea of filling in the holes is basically playing what you want to play when it's time for a fill, which shouldn't be controversial, right? You're going to play something. But when it becomes controversial is when you decide, we talked about in the last video, being present in the moment. When I'm playing a song, sometimes the crowds, sometimes I've played in front of 5 people. Sometimes I've played in front of 500 people. It just depends on the situation. And when there's 500 people, there's a lot more energy in the room. Or if it's a small room and it's packed, even if there's 100 people, but it's a small room and it's standing room only and it's packed and it's hot, you feel that energy. When you're playing a song, sometimes you just have the feeling to do something different. And so often people play the same fills for years. I don't get that. I don't play the same fill for minutes, let alone for years. So very common occurrences. We trade fours a lot in my lessons, and it happens with adult students more often. We're playing, we're trading, and I'll do a fill, and they'll say, "That's a cool fill. What did you play?" I'm like, "I don't know. How do I know what I played? It was a spur of the moment thing. I could think back and try to remember, but I don't know exactly what I played." And that happens in rehearsals. That happens all the time because I don't have any pre-planned fills. Never have. And maybe that's the jazz background in me. But I'm not exactly Mr. Jazz either. But obviously, throughout watching my videos, you know that I do have a bent on fusion or a jazz background, Buddy Rich, whatever. And when you would go see jazz performers, I had the opportunity to see guys play, in jazz, you play maybe 2 sets. So you go and you watch the early set, and then you stay and you watch the late set. So I'm watching Buddy Rich in the early set, or I'm watching Chick Corea in the early set. I'm watching Dave Weckl play certain things. Some things he plays the same. Some things he doesn't. It's just 2 hours apart. He doesn't play the same fill. He doesn't play the same thing. Sometimes he does because it's sort of integral to the song. But sometimes it's just improv, spur of the moment. Same with Vinny. I watch him play with Jeff Beck or whatever, the same song, and then you watch another song. He plays things different. So different guys, different things. Dennis Chambers, Steve Smith, whatever, Vital Information. Back in the day, I'd see him play 2 sets. Steve Smith would play very differently at different times. So it just depends on mood, right? And being present in the moment. So the idea of filling in the gaps is it shouldn't be unusual to play a different fill. And if you're rehearsing with somebody, this happened oftentimes. I'd be rehearsing and I'd play a fill, and then we'd redo the song and I'd play a different fill. And the bass player would say, "Well, you didn't play the same fill that time." And my response is always, "So? It doesn't matter if I played the same fill. What matters is whatever the song is, and let's just say in general, we do the fill and we're coming out on 1. What matters is I come out on 1. That's what really matters. The fill, the orchestration of the fill doesn't matter too much. The time matters. The time matters greatly. The time has to stay, obviously, in time. And if we're coming out of the fill and we're crashing on 1, or whatever accent we're crashing on, the and of 1, the of 4, whatever it is, that has to be right. But what I play before that doesn't matter. And more often than not, if you're looking at a chart within jazz circles, the fills are never written out, right? It just says fill. If you've never looked at them before, big band charts or whatever, it'll just say fill, and it might have like 4 quarter notes or 4 cymbal things, and just say fill with a squiggly line. So it's totally up to you, as long as you come in at the right time. So the thing to remember is you're going to fill the hole, fill the fill. I like that one. You're going to fill it however you want. But why you would want to do the same fill all the time is incredibly boring to me. Let's face it, we all learned this fill, one of the first fills, right? I don't want to play that fill. Even if the guy in the song played that fill, Anyone who's ever, Bobby Musial, you out there, I think you could tell me if I ever played that fill in a song. It would be pretty rare. Even if that is the fill, that's great if that's the fill. But why do I have to play that? What is important is that I crash on one. So, stand up for yourself, drummers. If you feel like playing something different, play it. And if the bass player or someone says, that's not the fill you played, tell them, don't worry about that. You just play on one. That's what you got to worry about. That you're playing on one with me. And I realize it's more of a jazz thing because it's certainly common. I mean, certainly common in jazz. It doesn't matter. That's part of the beauty of it. It's a conversation. I might hear the guitarist play a cool part melodically or rhythmically, and then when I get a chance to play something, I'll play off that. And maybe he doesn't play that same thing the night or the night before or the night after. So it's a conversation, and I'm playing off of the other musicians. If I just play the same thing all the time, then there's no conversation. I'm not communicating with the other musicians. So fill in the gap, but be creative and fill in what you think fits. Okay, I'm going to play a little. I'm just going to play 1 bar at a time, 2 bars at a time, 1 bar fill. I can absolutely guarantee you have no idea what I'm going to play. Who cares? I'm just going to play whatever. Same thing would be if I was playing the melody that leads into it, or if it's a solo that leads into it, and then I have a fill. Even if it's a fill where everything stops and it's just me, even more important, then it's even more creative. What do I feel like? As long as I come in on one, don't worry about it. Fill in the gaps. I'll probably put a picture of a chart up that just says fill. So you believe me, for those of you who may not believe me. And that's it. Orchestration, we don't care. Time, absolutely care. If you're going to do whatever fill you want, you better nail one or whatever accent the fill ends with, right? That's most important. But what you play, I don't tell the bass player when he's got a solo what he should play. Doesn't matter to me. Play whatever you want. Just make sure you come in on one when your solo's over or that section of the song's over. As a matter of fact, I encourage you to play something different because that might inspire me to play something different. Not a big fan of these headphones. I'm going to switch it up. Oh, I'm going to break my back. I'm going to switch it up. I'll put these on. Okay, real simple. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not totally have no idea what I'm going to play. Play whatever you come, but of course, important to practice that way too, so that you have the facility to play whatever happens to come your way when you're playing something. Now there are some iconic fills, but even I played "In the Air Tonight," Phil Collins. I don't think I played that exactly how he played it. I don't remember how I played it. Everybody liked it, but I don't remember exactly if it was exactly how he played it. The Rush fill from YYZ, all those fills. I played one of those fills in a Paul McCartney song. Never did that before. I just had this feeling. Band on the Run. There's that break and there's a fill. I played, I think the last fill for Tom Sawyer. And on the run. The band liked it. They turned around and they all laughed. They thought it was funny. I only did that maybe once or twice, but it doesn't matter as long as you come in on one. Have fun. Spontaneity, variety is the spice of life. Have some fun. Have the facility to play different things. I had a student come to me from another teacher once and said, I don't understand why you play so many different things. And I said, I don't understand why you play the same thing all the time. And he goes, well, how do you do that? And I thought, what do you mean, how do you do that? What have you been working on? You're just working on one fill for one song? So anyway, concepts, like we talked about in the last thing, and facilitate things around the drums and ideas, hi-hat hits, whatever, flow, and practice these things. Practice these things. One bar fills in pop rock music. How about a one beat fill or a two beat fill even? Even that doesn't have to be the same. That it's in time, and that wherever the ending part is, you accent with the rest of the band. Practice, practice, practice. Fill in the holes, but fill in what you want. And maybe you're sick one night and you can barely play. Then make a simple fill. And then the other night, you're feeling great and everything's 30-second notes. I don't know. Everybody's different, but have fun with it and experiment and variety. Don't be so stuck. What is it? Square peg, round hole, square peg. Don't be so stuck in everything has to be the same. I'll never understand it. But if that's how you want to play, that's okay. I just think there's a lot more out there to do it. And again, if you look a little bit into the jazz side of things, you'll see the improv thing really stepping to the forefront, much more so than the rock side of things. But improv, it's just fun. The communication. A little homework. Check out a Hiromi video with Simon Phillips. Move, I think, is a good one to watch. Watch their eye movement. One of my favorite things in watching bands, I used to sit real close and watch Chick Corea Electric Band, Dave Weckl, John Patitucci, was watching their eyes watch each other and the joy that they got when the other person played something cool. To me, it's a conversation. It's like a witty joke or something. You laugh. They would laugh at each other because they would play something, or Gambale would rip this solo, and Patitucci would just be shaking his head like, holy crap. If he played the same thing every night, it's not so holy crap. It might be great, but you've heard it a million times. So, and even if it's the same thing 80% of the time, because obviously there's form, right? There's certain things, there's melody, things that we don't have to worry about with drums as much. But you can still improvise, and those musical conversations to me are just where it's at. When I'm able to speak with the bass player or do something, and somebody looks at me and says, that was cool. Now I might do it again the next time I play it, but I probably won't because I won't remember what I did. It also happens when you get older. Probably won't remember the fill I did, which is a frustration for a lot of my students because they want to know, what did you just play? I don't know. So sometimes they come in and record our sessions where we're trading fours. It's much easier to listen back and say, oh, I did this, and then remember and then teach that. So practice, practice, practice. Like and subscribe. Got some more stuff coming out. And remember, fill in the holes, be creative, do your own thing, and don't worry so much about repetitiveness, more about, I think, spontaneity, and remember the Vinny line, thought is the enemy of flow. Just have fun and flow. Don't think so much. I remember, real fast, I got to go. I want to make it short. But one of my first gigs I ever did was a wedding. I was a sophomore in high school. I think I was a sophomore, probably 14 or 15. I couldn't drive. I loaded my drums into the trumpet player's car, and we went to this gig, and we had the weirdest songs now that I think back. But we were doing the Tom Petty song, Don't Do Me Like That, okay, which is not a wedding song. Really crazy that we would play that, but we did. And there's a drum fill in it, and the drum fill is, I think, something like that. That's probably not the orchestration, but rhythmically that's pretty. And I was terrified. I had this break in this song, and that was the fill. Man, I just was agonizing over that fill. I did the fill, and everything was fine. The next time we did the wedding, I didn't particularly like that fill, so I did a different fill. It wasn't that fill, it was whatever. And more people liked that fill than... It's not exactly a fill that's going to, get the blood flowing, right? The same with the fill from Jackson Browne, Running on Empty, right? He plays that... Now that's a fun fill to play. It's big and... Even if you did that every once in a while, who cares? As long as you play the ending part. So I've played that fill the same way, different ways, however I felt it. So variety, flow, what you're feeling at the moment, but keep the time right and play. Make sure you hit the accent wherever they're supposed to be, no matter where they are. That's the most important. Practice, practice, practice. Like and subscribe. Have fun. Hope everybody's liking the videos. And yeah, go back and watch my flow video on 16th notes for some ideas for the fill in the holes thing. And there you go. So again, no notation for you guys out there that aren't keen on the notation. 2 videos in a row, no notation. The next one, notation, believe me. But very important, very important. Practice, practice, practice. See you next time.